Diagramming. The first thing I want to do is enter an application and start diagramming this process. Okay, it's quite a simple process. I'm going to explain it very quickly, and afterwards I'm going to start diagramming. We already know how to diagram. We already know how to do this part. Okay, but obviously it's necessary for me to diagram this in order to be able to continue later on with all the parameters of each object. Okay, so this would be the first thing we start doing. So here we have a start message event where we're going to request a product. Later on, we're going to have a task. We're going to have several KPIs. We're going to have a few automatic system tasks. Here we're going to have a requester. It's actually whoever started the process who's going to be able to receive their request if the approver didn't, if the supervisor didn't approve their request. Okay, so the flow is going to go back to them, and then it could go this way, so the supervisor can review it again, or it could actually go down this way if they decide to not reprocess their request. Okay, and if the supervisor does approve their request, it's going to go down here. We're going to we're going to inform the requester that their order has been processed, and then the process is going to end. Okay, it's quite a simple diagram, but we're going to have more than enough time to configure all of this and to go through all the different features in the list that we just mentioned. Now, the first thing I want to do is type in the link of my application, the one I'm going to use in order to build my new features. I'll type in my username, my password, and I'll click on this button. And this is going to take me into the system. Now I'm going to click here on this button where I'm going to structure all the information. So all the features are going to be developed here. Obviously, I don't have to be a developer in order to start creating, for example, a new process. So I'll click here on process, I'll click on create, and now I'll give my process a name. For example, product request. I hit the button continue, and I can configure everything else. The first thing I want to configure is the diagram. So I'll click here, and I'll start adding the objects. So I'll add a start message event. After that, I'm going to add a few KPIs, for example, some tasks. For example, we have a task for the supervisor. We have another task for the requester so that they can decide if they're going to reprocess their order. We have several KPIs. So for example, as soon as the process starts, we're going to add this KPI because later on I'm going to build a report based on the data that this KPI can store. Okay, I'll give it a name, and I'm going to continue with the rest of the process. I'm going to continue connecting all the different objects, aligning them, and building the diagram. All right, here we can see I've finished the diagram. I've given names to all of these objects. I am actually missing one here. Okay, I have to notify the requester here if the order was approved. And you guys can see this modeling tool. It's very similar to the one you guys were using, the standalone version. This is the option that, well, these are going to be the options that appear if you enter and start diagramming the process from within the application. Okay, it's slightly different, but it's basically the same thing. Here we can also see it tells us in real time what are all the bugs in our diagram. For example, if I take this no off, it's going to tell me there's 2 bugs, there's 2 problems. If I click here, it's going to tell me exactly what I have to fix. So I'll say no, this outlet has been fixed. So now I can see there's only one thing missing, and it's the DX1, DX Gateway 1. So here I'll put another no, and there we're good to go. Once this little tick appears in color green, it means I can save and everything is correct. There's some additional features here in this diagramming tool where it allows us to add backgrounds, gradients, and so on. But basically, most of it's practically the same as what you guys have been using. So I'm going to save and exit. Perfect. Everything has been saved correctly. Now the system has generated all the code, so I can just add some parameters to these objects and start configuring and have my process up and running in very little time.